world. The weather outside is not that cold, and if you take my hand, I'll walk with you to Georgia.
Hello and welcome to Country with Celine. In case you don't know, I'm from Toronto, and all I need right now is the beach and some sand with a margarita in my hand. Yeah, does that sound familiar? Because BS, we got a country singer, Charly Reynolds, who is here to chat with us today.
So I need the beach and the sand, a margarita in my hand. I need a breeze and a tan, maybe a man that understands. I don't need you right now. I'm headed down south to a little tiki bar where I don't want to be found. Just gotta get out of where I am.
Charly, how are you doing?
I'm so good. How about you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. So, BS, I need. Okay, number one, it charted number 19 on the iTunes country chart. So, congratulations on that.
Thank
That's a
you.
huge accomplishment. And the song, okay, it really describes that you want to go to a getaway place to kind of escape reality. So, given the fact as what has gone on over the whole year last year and even into this year, was this song kind of based on everything put into perspective?
Yeah, so it's funny you would say that. So actually, I wrote this song 2 years ago with my friend Brad Hutzel. And when we wrote it, we're both from Florida, and we both live in Nashville now. So when I got there, it was like a gorgeous day outside, but I'd had the worst morning, like ever. Like it was just one of those mornings where everything goes wrong. It doesn't matter what it is, it's just wrong. And I had the title, and so that's kind of, we just based it on like, we just want the beach, but we can't even go. Like it just sucks, now that we don't have a beach here, like what's the escape in Tennessee? Like there just isn't one that we found. And so we just based it on New Smyrna Beach, where we both grew up going to like every weekend. And that's where it came from. But it's funny because I wasn't going to release it then, only because we wrote it in like June. And so then it was kind of late to put out a summer song at that point. Then I was going to do it the next summer, and then COVID happened, and I was in Florida, and I wasn't up in Nashville. Anyways, it was a big thing. So I was like, all right, this summer is the summer that it's coming out, because I've waited so long. And it was kind of perfect because everybody's felt like they just need to get out and need to like, just relax and not worry about anything else in the world because of COVID. So it was almost kind of perfect timing for everyone, and including myself. So I'm glad that it kind of got pushed back a little bit.
Yeah, it was like made for this
Yeah.
to come out. Thank God. Well, I mean, probably if you released it back then, it still would have gone as popular. But now I feel like a lot of people can actually relate to it, and like
For sure.
Yeah, they want a beach, they want some sand, they want a margarita in their hand. Just
Yes.
BS they need. So,
Yep. I love it.
yeah, it's great. And now another single that you released, Hey Hypocrite. Oh,
Yes.
what's the story behind that one? I feel like you can dig deep into there.
Yeah, so I haven't really talked about this, but it's kind of funny. When I went to that write that day, so there's some writes where I'm not really in it. I mean, I'm in it, but I'm not, I can't connect to the song that well. And it's kind of like I'm trying very hard. But then there's the writes where it's like I am just on fire because I've had this, like with this song, that was one that I went in and I was just like, I want to write a song, something hypocrite, because me and like one of my old friends had gotten in a huge fight, and it was just, that's the word that kept coming to my head. And we got in the fight the night before I had the write. And so it was all kind of just like very fresh. And we got in there and I was like, all right, we got to write a song called Hypocrite. Like, I don't even know what will rhyme with it or what like will work, but we got to, so we wrote it in like an hour and a half, and we loved it. Like me and Haley May Campbell and Zachary Mano all wrote it. He produced it. And we did the demo that day, like right after we finished writing it. And I loved it. Like I was playing it on repeat because I was just like, I needed to hear it. And then I was like, okay, I know I want to release this. I'm not sure exactly when, but I know I want to release it, my next single. So we left the demo vocals that we recorded that day on it, because there's something about when you record something that day, you can't always use the demo vocals because sometimes they're not great. But this time I was just like, I feel like I had a little rasp in my voice because I was up all night, because after that fight that happened, and it worked. I was like, sometimes that wouldn't work, but this time it did. So it just, I don't know. I haven't even told that story to anybody, but that's what happened. It was just a fresh, stupid fight, and then that kind of just turned that song into what it is.
I don't know how you get away with it, acting like you're so damn perfect when you say one thing to my face and do another when you're wasted. I just can't take it. Hey, hypocrite.
And the demo was just a real authentic, raw version because, like you said, you just got in the fight. So in another way, it's kind of like that fight, in a sense, was kind of meant to happen for the song to be alive, right?
For sure, yeah. Yep. If it didn't happen, that song wouldn't have happened, so.
Exactly. And now another song. This one's quite older. It's from 2019 that I wanted to touch on because it really gained a big reception. I think that's the wrong word.
I think you're right.
Response. That's the one. Response from the country music industry. And the song was called Shelby's Song. And that song is based on divorce, and it's coming from the mom's perspective of it. And now you were a child of divorce, and I think an adult child of divorce, correct?
Yeah, well, they got divorced when I was 6, but I mean, it affects you forever. So.
No, of course, that's exactly like my parents. My parents got divorced when I was 6 as well, so I can relate to that. So my question was, when the song came out, did a lot of younger girls and boys like reach out to you and say like how much this song hit home?
Yes, actually, and a lot of adults too, which was interesting because I don't know, because of my age, I was thinking like, well, it's kids that have gone through this, like my age, but obviously it's every age that have gone through it. And I just kind of have forgotten that. Like I had a lot of just middle-aged people, like adults, people my parents' age that went through the same thing. And it was, when we wrote that song, it was me and Toby Waters who wrote it, and Tavi Basarich. And we wrote the song. And I didn't want it to be exactly my story because I was very blessed with 2 amazing parents. And it just, but it's something that affects me so much. Like Love Triangle by Raylan was always a song that just makes me cry every time I hear it because it's so relatable. And I was like, I just want to tell a story like a country music person would, like a country songwriter would write. I want to tell a story. And it's really mainly focused on a family that I used to be pretty close with. I mean, I still am, but that I was pretty close with. I babysat for them and stuff. And she knew that it was like about them. And so the song's really close in their heart because we based a lot of the song on their life. But it was just so cool, like to see people, because there's really not that many songs about divorce because it's like, it's hard to write about also and not like say the same things, that like other people have already written. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I just need to have a song about it because it's affected my life in such a great, I mean, not great, but I mean, in just such a big way. So it was cool to just see people reach out and tell me their stories too.
They leave and she keeps waving from her car seat. I start to count the days till I have her next week. Shelby don't care who's right or wrong. Her life is a chess game, she's always the pawn. Guess her dad will never learn. His daughter doesn't know which way to turn. He lies about me with a laugh, and Shelby's left with the aftermath. It cuts me like a dagger when he's cold as ice. When she asks me play nice.
Yeah, because a lot of people can connect to that because the statistics on divorce, I'm pretty sure are a lot higher than they used to be.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, you really think that it only affects younger kids because like we were
Yep.
young when we went through that. But it really does affect older adults as well because your parents
Yeah.
can be in their 70s and they can still get a divorce. And I
Yeah.
feel like in one way, I feel like we were kind of blessed that we were younger because we didn't
Yeah.
really understand, rather than if we were like 18 or 22 or 30 and it happened, then it would be so much harder. And you're right. I'm pretty sure Love Triangle is like the only other divorce song that I've heard compared to yours.
Yes, I know, same. I literally can't think of one other divorce like song that there is. But that one's that one's really great. I love it.
That one hits home in so many ways, but just like yours. So thank you for releasing Shelby's song.
Yeah, of course. I really released it probably more for myself. And when I first released it, but it was cool. It was a cool one. And CMT like putting it on their website was really incredible as well. And it was like the day after the Grammys or something. And so when they posted it, it was like up next to all the Grammy winners. And I'm like, this is so cool. Like I didn't even know that was gonna, be the day of that. It was just happened as a coincidence, but it was really cool.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh, I'd be fangirling if I were you.
Yeah, I was like, this is literally insane. Like, it was so cool.
And now one more song I just wanted to touch on before we get into your life story. Half of it. So this song, we all understand the meaning behind it. Is pretty much not everyone understands exactly what's going on in someone's life. You only see half of it. So how special was that song for you to release?
Man, so special. I actually hadn't released music in like over a year when I put that song out, and the reasoning was because I hadn't written a song that like I wanted, like I got to think about how I want to say this, but I hadn't written a song yet that I really felt so close to that I wanted to release it first when I kind of started rebranding. And like that song I had been writing for like that whole year, and I have so many songs that I really love, but I was like, I just got to have the perfect first one that I want to release to kind of like, after kind of taking a little break from releasing music like that, I want the first song to be really meaningful, like, and hit me hard in my heart to where I know like that's what the one I want to release. And this song, like, it wasn't even scheduled like a write or anything. Me and my best friend Nicole, who I write with all the time, we were at her mom's house and we were just talking, and I think we wrote it in August, this past August, and I had been struggling a lot. I'm a person who's always had a hard time being vulnerable. It's just very hard for me. And I don't ever look at other people and think that they're weak when they're being vulnerable, ever. But to me, I've always felt like it's a weakness, for myself, not other people. And so we were talking about it, and I was just like, it's just so hard, like on social media, like everybody thinks every day of my life is just so incredible because all you post about is like the highlights of your day. You don't share the stuff, like nobody knows what goes on behind the scenes. And like, it was hard for me in that moment because I was like, it's just a lot of pressure because you got to keep it up, which is ridiculous. That's one thing I don't like about social media because it just makes people look at, or like if I look at bloggers or influencers, then it's like, dang, why isn't my life like that? It just starts a comparison like spiral. And anyway, so we just like started talking about it, and I think it was her mom, Lisa, was like, yeah, you just don't see the half of it like with people. And I was like, that sounds like a good song. So we went home, Nicole spent the night, and we wrote that song at like 1 a.m. And we only wrote the first verse and the chorus because we were so exhausted, and we finished it the next day. But I knew that night, I told her, I was like, this is the next single because it's so raw and real, and that's what I want like to put out. I don't want to put out a song right now that like I don't exactly connect with 100%. Like this is 100% like my heart just raw.
I don't have it all together, and I never said I did. If you cave under the pressure, you ain't ever gonna live. I don't talk about my problems, but I'm willing to admit you only see what I show you, and you ain't seen the half of it.
And I knew that people would relate to it because no one knows everything about every person, you know. There's always like a side that you don't see or show to people.
Of course. And that's exactly what Instagram is too, right? You're only posting the highlights. You never want to show your vulnerability side. You never want to show your weaknesses. But it's really awesome to hear how the process of a song comes to life. You wrote that song, the verse and the chorus, overnight, pretty much. Like, that's amazing. And then it comes out a couple months later. Like, it's crazy how that all works and how fast it comes to life. But like you were saying, music is healing, and that song healed you, and that song also healed everyone else who listened to it as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's really nice to hear that, and the meaning behind that song is special, and it can connect with so many people, like so many. So now let's get to know Charly a little bit more. Where exactly did you grow up?
I grew up in Orlando, Florida, which is where I am right now. I lived here till I was 18. Right after high school, I moved to Nashville. So like 3 years ago, about.
And now, what made you want to move to Nashville? What made you want a country music career?
So ever since I was little, I loved music. Like first, it started like Broadway music because I was a very outgoing like child. Like I always wanted to be the star of the show. Like growing up, that was just, I had so much confidence. Like I just loved the center of attention on stage. And so I would like do little performances in my living room, just singing to like Broadway songs like Wicked and Hairspray, stuff like that. Like I just loved those shows. And then Taylor Swift came out with like her iconic like country albums. And I started listening to those and loved her music. Like I loved it so much. So she kind of introduced me to country music. And then I just like fell in love with all country music. And my parents, they listen to country too. Like growing up, it was always around. But I just was always more into like the theater part of music when I was younger, and Disney, like princess, you know, stuff like Disney princess songs. And then I got into Taylor Swift. So that kind of just led me on to like listen to all of their country. And when I was 12, like I loved Carrie Underwood. Like I became just obsessed with Carrie's like music and her concerts. And that's I guess where it really all started. And I didn't know that I wanted to do it like for real and like actually make the move to Nashville. I wasn't sure because in high school, you know, people judge you for being different and wanting to do something, you know, just different than anybody else. And so I was going to go to University of Alabama and do news broadcasting is what I wanted to do, and be a news anchor, which is like really funny now because I would not want to do that now. But so I was going to go there, and then it just hit me. I was like, college is always going to be there. It's like something you can always go back and do. But like right now at this point in my life, this is like the only time that I can move to Nashville to see where this goes. And I just couldn't not go to Nashville because I was like, if I don't do this, I'm going to regret it like the rest of my life. I just know. Because I love singing. That's all I want to do is like perform and go on tours, and that's all I want. Like it's just, that's always been the dream. So I went ahead and just did it. I just moved there, me and my dog Dolly, and it was a great decision because I love it and I never want to move from there ever. So I love it. Have you been to Nashville?
Oh, honey, I have been to Nashville
Okay,
and I
good.
love
Good.
I want to move there too.
It's great. It's so great. And like the thing about it, it is such a huge town and there's so many people doing like the exact same thing. But the talent is like incredible everywhere you go. Like there's not, I mean, you can go in every single bar and there's just like so much talent and it's at the songwriters nights. Like it's just cool. There's always something going on. Like in Orlando, when I lived here, I felt like there was nothing, like nothing to do ever, even though Disney is here. People might think Floridians go to Disney all the time or something, but you don't unless you're just obsessed with it. But there was nothing ever to do or go anywhere other than the beach. But so just Nashville is just cool. It's always got something going on. I just love it there.
And you were saying that you love to perform. The performing is what you want to do. And I have to say, your outfits show that you like to perform with all
my
the sparkles and I love
Thank you. I love finding some sort of sparkly rhinestone like something wherever I'm looking online and I'm like, oh, that'd be really good for a stage like performance. It's my favorite part about it almost.
And now you mentioned your dog, Dolly Pawton. Okay.
Yes.
Pawton, like come
Pawton,
on. That
like
is
the paw.
thing. Did you name your dog or did that? Yeah, you named your dog, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I named her. She's like right here. She's so
Let's
funny.
see her. Put her out on the camera.
Dolly, why are you ignoring me? Hey, come here. Look, come here. She's like, what do you want? I'm tired. She played in the pool all day yesterday and the day before. Oh, you're fine. Come say hi. Say hi. Yeah, she's a sweet girl. She's talking. Yeah, she's a Labradoodle.
Okay.
So she's short. She's shaved right now. She normally looks really different than this. But when I got her, so my dad wouldn't let me bring my other dog, Benji, to Nashville because Benji lived over there primarily, and my dad was attached to him. And he's like, you cannot take Benji too. Like, you can't do that. So I was like, fine, I'll just go get my own dog. So I went on Craigslist that day, and which, I mean, my brother got his dog on Craigslist. So I was like, okay, it'll probably be like, all right. So I found Dolly on there and I went and got her that day, and Jacksonville is like a 2-hour drive. Went and got her. And then on the way back, I was like, well, she's got to have a country name because like that'd just be crazy to not. Sorry, she's sneezing over there. And so anyways, I was going through the list and I'm like, okay, who does she look like, you know? And I was like, well, she's got big blonde fluffy hair, so like Dolly, obviously, like Dolly Parton. And my brother wanted me to name her Reba, and I'm like, no, like she doesn't look I love Reba, but she does not resemble Reba at all. So Dolly, it fit, it worked. And ever since then, it's like just fits her better than anything else I could picture.
It totally fits her. How old is she?
She's 3.
Oh, she's still like a
3 and a half.
Yeah. She's still a puppy. Come on.
She is, and she acts like one too. Hasn't changed.
Oh no, and poodles are the best breed. Putting that out there so everyone knows, poodles are the smartest dogs.
Yes.
And the like, just they just know humans. Like when you're upset, they know.
They know, and she thinks she is a human. So, and I swear, like they're so smart to the point where it's like they pretend that they're dumb so that you don't catch on like to how smart they are. I swear she does it. Like she'll just act like stupid, or they have like selective hearing, you know, sometimes they don't, I don't know. She thinks she's human. It's funny.
I swear poodles are exactly like that because I have a poodle as well. So
yeah, so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and now just going back a little bit, you were saying about Taylor Swift and Carrie, who are both 2 huge icons in the country music scene. Who would you say be your dream collaboration?
Okay, so I love them both so much, but my dream collaboration would be Shania Twain because Shania Twain is like my idol, to be honest. And it's funny because my stepmom, when I was like 12 or 13, tried to get me to listen to Shania Twain, and I wouldn't because I don't know why actually, but I was just like, I saw the cover and it just looked old, and I for some reason just didn't want to listen to it, which was the biggest mistake of my life because I could have been singing it all this time. And then I just got into Shania Twain about 4 years ago. And like, she's my favorite by far. I love her songs. They're all so much fun. They have so many different instruments than like, well, it's 90s country too, so it's different. But that's my favorite country is like 90s country. That's like the prime time. And it would be Shania Twain, just hands down.
Shania Twain is a Canadian country.
Yes, so there you go.
Wow, we gotta give it to her. No, she's amazing. Honestly, all her songs are just straight bangers. Like
they are, and they're all like anthems. Like every single one.
Every single, and she starts majority of her songs off with "Hey Billy," you know, or like "Let's go,
girls." Yeah,
like all of them. I mean, she really is. And now, one more thing before we play a little game.
Okay.
I noticed that you were on American Idol. So can you just share with the viewers how exactly your experience went?
Yeah. So it's funny. I have been auditioning for like all the shows since I was about 15 years old. And I always got to like almost to the next, like almost to the final round to where you actually go in front of the judges. Mm-hmm. But I always got cut right before. Like, and I was like, you know what? I'm done with these shows. Like, I'm so over this. And then come June, American Idol reached out to me and asked me to come audition. And I said no, which was dumb. But I was just like, you've never wanted me before. So, like, why would you want me again? So I said no at first. And then she reached out again in August and was like, it's on Zoom. Like, you won't even have to go anywhere. Like and I was like, okay, I'll do it then. Cause the thing was that I used to travel to audition for the like open calls or like a private audition. So I used to have to pay to travel and stuff. And I was just like, I'm not doing that anymore. So it worked out that it was on Zoom. So I did that. And then they were like, all right, we want you to come out and audition in front of the judges. And I was like, what? Like for real this time? Like I'm going to actually be in front of them. So the whole experience was so fun. It was a little different because of COVID. Like a lot of it was outside, and it was funny because they didn't want us to wear the masks on camera, like in any way. Like if you were in the background of a shot, you need to take it off because they were like, maybe by the time this airs, like masks won't be a thing anymore. So it'll be like outdated. So we don't, and I was like, okay. We were all socially distanced and everything and had tests done while we were there, but it was just interesting how they film. And then we had to wear like the same clothes every single day so that it looked like everything they shot was all in one day. Meanwhile, it was really over like 4 or 5 days, which I'm like, man, somebody could have like spilled something or been sweating, and like that's all they, that you have to wear that outfit. So it's just kind of funny to me. So anyways, I went in the audition room and I wasn't nervous, surprisingly, which normally I'm like shaking. Like I literally, my nerves get to me so bad. And I talked to them for like 10 minutes. And then I sang. They had me sing a second song, then they had me sing it without the guitar, and then they had me sing Carrie Underwood. And then I got a yes from Luke, and then 2 no's. But it was so much fun. Like literally, I know everybody says that, like, I didn't make it, but it was fun. But like, it actually was. Like, it was such a fun experience. And it was funny because Luke knows people that I know. We were like talking, and he lives pretty close to where I live. And it was cool. It almost didn't feel real because we hardly had any sleep. And like, the whole time. And that day, like my audition was supposed to be at like 1 o'clock, and it ended up being at like 8:30 at night. So we were out there like all day. So we were tired. And when we walked in, everybody said this too. It was like they were almost holograms because it just didn't feel real, like that they're standing there or sitting there in front of you. But they had like Lionel Richie had great feedback, and like he was so nice, and he's like my new favorite now. Like that I met him, he was awesome. And it was just a really great experience, and I definitely do want to go back again this year, because I told them I would. I was like, I'll be back like next year. You'll see me here. But it was a great time, and I met so many people.
It's interesting to hear all these stories about American Idol, because quite a bit of people that I've been talking to, they were saying their experiences on the show as well. But I didn't know about this 4-day thing where you had to wear the same clothes. So that's really interesting, really interesting. But to experience American Idol, like whether you move on or whether you don't, if you get the feedback from those 3 judges, I mean, like, that's like, especially Lionel Richie, like, okay.
I know. Okay. He was just so real. Like when I tell you, like you would never even know he's like a celebrity. He is so down to earth, like, and just a genuinely super nice person. Like and not that I really expected anything less, but I'd never met him. I don't know. I've never met really any celebrities like, you know, like that. So it was just cool. It was really awesome to get feedback from them.
And now you and Luke are like buddies now, essentially.
Yeah. He probably doesn't remember me, but we were buddies for the like 20 minutes that I was in that room.
Yeah, no, I'm sure I'll remember. Well, if you go back again, yeah, I'll remember.
I go back.
Fingers crossed for that time.
Yes, thank you.
And now, Charly, before I let you go, we're going to play a little game that's called Country with Celine Rapid Fire. So I'm going to shoot you out a couple questions and then pick which one that you like. Okay. You'll understand what I mean once I start going.
I got you. Okay.
Hot coffee or cold coffee?
Cold.
Morning person or night owl?
I guess night owl. I'm pretty much both, to be honest.
That's fair. Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Jeans or sweatpants?
Sweatpants.
Now, would you rather have a closet full of clothes or a closet full of shoes?
Clothes.
Clothes?
Yeah.
That's the way to go.
Like, pick them out, then yeah.
Your favorite Netflix binge?
Ooh, okay, wait, I gotta think about this. I just had COVID, so I just like watched all these different things. But honestly, probably Outer Banks when it comes out, season 2, because I will definitely be binge watching that when it comes out.
Yeah, I think everyone's gonna be binge watching that.
Sure.
I think it's a lot better than people expected.
Yes, I think so too.
And now, who would you want to be stranded on an island with?
Maybe my best friend, Nicole. I don't know who I would. Or if I could pick anybody.
Anybody.
Okay, if I can pick anyone like a celebrity. Yeah. Probably Justin Bieber or Shania Twain, because we could write like really good songs together. So, but if we're stranded, then I guess it wouldn't matter. So I don't know. I'd pick one of them.
That's funny, because when I asked that question, I was thinking Justin Bieber as well.
Really?
Yeah.
There we go.
I think that's what we got to do. And the last one is, what makes country music so special to you?
So honestly, I love all types of music. So like I listen, like my playlist is so weird because it's like I like Broadway music, I like pop, I like country, I like everything. But country, for me as a singer and performer and songwriter, like it's the most authentic to me, and it tells stories, whereas like not every genre does that. Like country music is made to tell you stories and get your heart, just you feel it in your heart, like, and that's what's important to me about like country songs. Or if you're Shania Twain, then it's get people pumped up. But I love all the instruments too in country. Like steel guitar is like my favorite like instrument in a song. It's just the best. And like fiddle and all that. It's just fun, and it's just, I don't know. I've always just been drawn to it, and that's where the passion is for sure. So
I couldn't have said that better myself. It was a perfect answer. Country music like you were just mentioning real quick, country music is just, there's no other genre that, even in my perspective, it tells a story quite like country.
It does. There's literally no other genre. Like it just has a way with words. I don't know.
It has a way with, that's a country song too.
It is.
But,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's a Blake Shelton song.
Yes.
Away with words.
Country girls just know when,
No.
we just know, yeah.
You know, it's just in us, I guess.
It's just in our blood. But thank you so much, Charly, for joining me today on Country with
Thank
Celine.
you.
It's been a pleasure chatting with you. And now everyone, make sure you go stream BS I Need, especially if you live in Ontario.
There you go. It'll make you feel, you'll be planning a beach trip very soon.
Yes, that's cool.
Is the beach and the sand, a margarita in my hand. I need a breeze and a tan, maybe a man that